Are we doing too much?
There's a lot of hype with this kid, man.
I think it's a little too much.
Yeah, I mean, LeBron James, the hype there.
But LeBron, okay, here's the thing with LeBron. You watched one NBA game against the Kings, and everyone's like, yep, he can play.
Well, I watched one high school game, and I was like, oh, this is different.
Yeah, we all did.
This is different.
That was the Dickie V game.
I mean, the Dickie V, St. Mary, St. Vincent against Oak Hill.
He passed the ball.
Exactly.
It's the floor vision. Like, there are certain things that you could just tell. The chest. Like, I looked at his chest, and I was like, oh, yeah, the guy's got a man's body.
Will Victor be able to dribble in front of a guard or a big man?
Skinny.
That's what I'm saying. You know,
like
Jay Billis.
Chet?
Well, Jay Billis was breaking it down, saying, he doesn't allow people to get into their body. Well, the NBA, they're going to get into your body.
Kevin Durant's an outlier. I don't think people realize being that skinny is an outlier. And I think the thing with Kevin Durant that people sleep on is the athleticism.
Right.
Wouldn't you agree?
Yeah, absolutely.
And his footwork is elite for how big he is.
Like, the NBA is a fast game.
Yes,
he's going to be able to stay with some of these guys. I know he's long and he's athletic, but, boy,
I'm very skeptical. And I hope I'm wrong. I'm very skeptical.
Like, the Scoot Henderson kid, I was like, damn, this little point guard's good. This little joker's going to be legit.
So you like Scoot over Wemby?
You can't make that pick.
Well, you like Paolo Banchero over Chet last year. You were very specific on that.
Well, and it was funny because
he didn't play.
He didn't play, but I went out to March Madness. Remember we were talking about March Madness, how the city just popped. Chase Center was popping.
Yeah.
You had Duke, Texas Tech, and he had Arkansas and Gonzaga. So Hef and I get there for the second half of Gonzaga at Arkansas. And Chet's in that game. And you had Jalen Williams, the long-haired Jalen Williams from Arkansas with LKC. Obviously, they have two Jalen Williams. And Chet got knocked to the ground so much, Shasky, on just box outs.
Yeah.
Simple box outs. He was on the ground. Yeah. And he fouled out of that basketball game. Now, a couple of those fouls were suspect. But I was like, gosh, this guy is skinny. And if you just put a body on him, he's falling over. Remember talking to Bully. When he went out to the Gonzaga-St. Mary's game at St. Mary's that season, and Gonzaga lost, Chet had like 4 or 6 points or something like that. It was getting bullied in the post. I'm skeptical of Chet, and he's a big.
Don't talk about him.
Not really. But Chet's on the 3-point line a lot, and I was like, give me Paolo. In those 2 games, I was like, this dude's a grown man. Well, and he had an NBA game. He was smooth. He was composed. He knew when to play fast. He knew when to pass the ball. Yeah. He was crashing the glass. He was locking up on D. I was like, he's got an NBA body.
I agree with you.
I don't know if Chet has an NBA body.
Well,
same thing with Wemby. I don't know if he's got an NBA body.
Well, so you always hear this like, when Giannis came into the league, he was skinny. Can we at least acknowledge pointing to outlier situations?
Right.
They're outliers for a reason. They're very rare. Drew Brees was accurate and small in the middle of the pocket. Yeah, that's an outlier. So all these people, you're going to be the next Drew Brees. We're still waiting on that.
Right. We're still
all right, Kevin Durant is an outlier. To be a skinny guy and to be able that tall and that explosive is very rare. And look, here's the thing with Kevin Durant. He's had a lot of injuries.
A lot.
No, he's had a Hall of Fame career, but he's had a lot of injuries. I look at someone like Giannis and bulking up the way he did. That's also an outlier. Now, I understand when you draft someone who's 18 years old, they have to grow into their body. I mean, we all have family members that are 18 years old, and then you look at them at 26, and they fill out, and they look totally different than when they're 18.
And Giannis had the frame to fill out. KD, though, even though KD didn't have that frame, and he was only benching 165, he got a little thicker, but I remember
It's a cardio league.
I thought with the way the league was shifting, it was shifting towards having guys like him handle the ball and pull up from 3. Remember they had the guy Thon Maker who had the great highlight tape. We thought Thon Maker was going to be sick.
I think he was a South Florida guy.
Yeah, well, it did not work out. Did not work out for Thon Maker at all. I thought he was going to be KD, but KD, I was thinking, man, I want him over Olden. It all depends on the basketball skill to handle the shot-making ability. And I get Wemby's going to have that, but boy, he was throwing up those bricks, man. I was like, is he trying to brick? What's going on here? Well, it looked flat, didn't it?
It just, the whole thing, when I saw him in the uniform, I was like, he looks really skinny.
Really skinny.
He looks really skinny. And again, maybe he'll be able to cook a Kevon Looney off the dribble. I don't know how he's going to box out in the next couple of years.
Yeah, I don't know. We shall see about that.
I mean, Bull is out there struggling.
Bull balled out last year.
I'm just saying at the beginning.
Struggling at the beginning. But you know what? Bull had a good season last year.
And by balled out, as a role
double
player.
doubles,
Okay.
double doubles
This is the number
here and
one
there.
pick in the draft.
Right,
That's all
no
I'm
doubt,
saying. Like,
no
there's
doubt.
a big
Don't
difference.
you better be better
That's
than
all
Bol
I'm
Bol.
saying.
You better be better than Bol Bol.
That's all I'm saying.
Like, would I take Bol Bol and the Warriors?
When
Probably.
people say he's the greatest prospect
Ever? Yeah, that's
too much.
Well, it's like we didn't see LeBron James. We didn't see Kevin Durant. We didn't see Carmelo Anthony. All right? What other prospect? Joel Embiid. Andrew Wiggins. Do you remember the hype on Andrew Wiggins?
I mean, we just watched James Wiseman, whose body is a lot bigger, thick-wise, than Wemby, and he got bodied in every game.
Right. So I'm not this whole.
I'm really interested to see him in summer league.
Yeah, yeah, and that he may play Monday, July 3rd. It may go up there. Not sure though. Not sure if I want to make that drive to Sacramento.
Benny and I are. We already got our tickets.
Really?
We're going. Yep, young Benjamin and I. Because
really
the
cool.
Lakers play the Heat right before it, and then we're watching right
Now,
after.
when you bought tickets,
That's cool.
Could you sit anywhere? Is it like first come, first serve?
No. They have like legit seats you have to buy.
Really?
Yeah, they're like, this thing's going to be sold out pretty damn quick.
Wow.
Because they're expecting Wembanyama to be there and Brandon Miller to be playing it.
Oh, that's
That's
cool.
right, Brandon. When do the Warriors play? Do they play Monday too?
They do. They play the Monday night game against Sac right after Wembanyama.
Are you going to do the photo? The Aaron Judge Altuve photo and bring little Benny over?
I was thinking about it. I was like, if Wemby's there, I was like, Wemby, hold my kid.
Might have to hold him. I don't think they can stand next
Gotta
to
go
each
like
other.
Simba and Lion King. Hold him up. Let me take this picture real quick.
That's a long day of summer league. It's a long day.
We'll just be going probably even till halftime of that Spurs one. Like
Yeah.
whenever Wemben's out, I'm like, all right, bud,
So
let's go.
it's Spurs Hornets in that first one.
It's the second one. So Lakers, Heat at 3, 5 o'clock,
We'll skip that
Spurs,
game.
Hornets, and then 7, I believe, is Kings, Warriors.
So the guy for the Miami Heat that we watched in summer league, Yurtsevin, is that how you pronounce it?
Yurtsevin, yeah.
Yeah.
Remember he was going at it with Kaminga?
He's humongous.
He's humongous.
He's humongous. So like,
Remember he hit Kaminga with an elbow to the ribs and Kaminga didn't even flinch?
I mean, like, just think about that. Victor's that's a backup, okay,
Right.
who barely gets off the bench for the Miami Heat. Like, I don't know, man. This Wemby thing's very interesting. I'm very intrigued. Maybe I'm tripping because I saw that video and I was like, red flag.
Bigger prospect
I'm
than
probably
Magic.
making too much of it.
Bigger
What?
prospect than Magic. Bigger prospect than
No,
Bird.
he's not a bigger
prospect than Kareem.
Magic at 19
Wilt.
years old took his team to the NCAA finals
won it.
and was dominating.
Yeah,
what are we talking about?
We keep talking about the biggest prospect in the history, like bigger prospect than Shaq. Than Shaquille
That's a
O'Neal,
great point.
Chris Webber, like come on, like we got to stop with this stuff. We got to stop. Oh, it's the greatest thing ever.
And remember, this is like whenever I hear people like, well, he dominated against big guys, adult, grown men in the French league. Yeah, so did Mikael Petrus.
Yeah. Oh my God.
And I'm not saying he's going to be Mikael Petrus, but like that was the big argument. French Jordan. Remember Mikael Petrus?
Oh yeah, they called him Air France. We called him Air France. Remember that?
That was the guy who liked to enjoy himself at Club Milk on
Oh man, Club Milk. Hey, Reggae Night used to be popping at Milk. Reggae Night was sick. Shout out to Milk, right across the street from Amoeba Records.
All I'm saying is, can we see it before we like put the cart before the horse?
But that's why we're saying prospect. We're not saying
Right.
this guy's going to be next. Like as a
But even
prospect,
But even if
like
the
this
bigger
guy's so
best
hyped.
taking
prospect?
LeBron.
Well, okay, that's fine. That's probably the only other guy then, right? Like for me, like we've
Shaq.
never even with Shaq, we've never seen handles like this. And Shaq was legit with this size, Shasky. Shaq's not even this tall. Did you see Wembanyama against Tim Duncan, David Robinson? Do you see him standing next to those guys?
it's
He
pretty
dwarfs
ridiculous.
them.
No,
It
I
is
know.
pretty
Dwarfs them, and he's supposed to be a point guard
Yeah,
type.
but Shaq at LSU.
Yes, he
did
was
handle the
awesome.
rock.
He still didn't get this
He
hype.
was so, young
no,
Shaq.
no.
Was
I
so
know.
athletic.
Go watch
I was
the
3
Shaq
years
doc.
old, so I
Go
can't
watch the
speak on
Shaq
it
doc
totally.
when he was like a young Ernie Johnson and Dick Vitale was like, this Shaquille O'Neal. Ernie Johnson was talking about him when he was still in college.
Young Shaq was so sick.
Shaq should have been on the dream team. Let's keep it a
Christian
buck.
Laettner, you're 100% correct.
over Christian Laettner. All right.
I hear you, but I'm telling you, I remember young Shaq at LSU, and I remember going, oh, dear God, there's no one ever built like him. He could run like a deer and was built like an ox.
Even Chris Webber, because Chris Webber always talks about that practice. So remember, we watched the Dream Team doc where they played Bobby Hurley, Chris Webber, Jamal Mashburn in that practice in San Diego, and the Dream Team got their ass kicked. Chuck Daly was like, "Oh boy, this is bad." And then the next day they ended up. But Chris Webber said, Chris Willis said Webber was the best player on the floor. He goes, there was Jordan, there was Barkley. Chris Webber was the best player on the floor that day at 19 years old against all those Hall of Famers. And even Larry Bird was like, thank God I'm getting out the league right now. That's what's coming in the league. Chris Webber, we forget how dominant he was at Michigan.
Again,
I mean, he wanted to play like magic.
And he was a lot thicker and a lot more skilled in terms of passing than Wemby was. Like this, I've watched the videos, and we'll see if it translates. All I'm saying is, I think it's going to be a really rough year for him.
I got a question for you guys. So these are probably going to be the two most hyped athletes this next year. It's Wembanyama and this guy
Caleb?
over at USC. Which stock you buying into? Caleb Williams or Victor Wembanyama?
Oh, that's a
because Caleb's getting Mahomes comps. Like Caleb's getting Mahomes comps.
So Aaron Murray, I believe, is the former Georgia quarterback.
Yeah.
So he's doing podcasts now, and he came out and basically said, as a prospect heading into the draft, he is going to be highly regarded than when Mahomes came into the draft.
I mean, I'm with that.
Yeah.
Is he is he more highly regarded than Deshaun Watson?
Because
Watson was the guy.
I would say he is.
Watson was the guy.
Because this guy's the unanimous first-round pick already going into this year.
I still think Andrew Luck is the...
That's a comp. Trevor Lawrence as well. Those are the two.
To me, Trevor Lawrence, as prospects, because of their size, I think Luck and Trevor Lawrence... And I don't know. I think those guys would be better, quote unquote, prospects than Caleb.
I mean, we forget Eli,
pretty damn
Peyton,
awesome. Yeah,
Vic.
That's what I'm saying.
I mean, Ben Roethlisberger even was. I remember they showed his game when he was at Miami of Ohio. He struggled against Iowa, but they were still like, this guy's going to be a top 15 pick.
If he went to Ohio State, he would have been a top 3 pick.
Yeah, no doubt. It would have been
there's not even
Eli, Phillips,
6'5",
Ben Pickett. Yeah, no doubt. So I don't want to do that to Caleb. I would say Victor. Because of hype. Now we'll see what happens next season. Because now Caleb has another year of college in that LA market, and going into the season, it's going to be the cream of the crop in the Pac-12, USC that is. So, and they got some big boy. They got a nice little schedule, I believe, this year.
I'll say this too: it's also easier for a guy on a crappy basketball team to succeed and put up numbers than a quarterback on a crappy football team. And that's what Caleb's going to go. Caleb's going to be going into it. Yeah, Trevor Lawrence is a great comp. Yeah. He went into a dumpster fire of his situation, one of the worst coaching situations in the history of the league. What's going to happen with Caleb? Is it going to be, I don't know, is Arizona going to move on from Kyler? That's going to be interesting. Is it going to be the Raiders with Josh McDaniel? Like, there's interesting little things to go on there. I'm hoping so, God. I'm praying. He might not even play. He might even be on the team. Brian Hoyer.
Brian Hoyer.